Tonight on Joy News Prime, Director General of Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumabuaji, expresses fear of the third wave of COVID-19 after a strategic meeting in Kumasi.
In cases is of concern to the Ghana Health Service, and this necessitated the strategic meeting of senior managers and our partners to address the increase in these cases.
16-year-old boy killed by a stray bullet, another injured in Eid celebrations at Aboabo in Ashanti region after a group of young men fired gunshots indiscriminately to mark the day.
So we just hear the call that they shoot Abdul Kasim.
Ashanti Regional Police Command denies allegations its personnel deployed to Kumasi Girls SHS to contain rioting there assaulted the students.
To be foolhardy for any police officer or military man to go into a girls' dormitory to attack girls. No, I don't think that is true.
My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Remember, we're coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlemle on digital terrestrial TV because we're free to air on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. We are your home of independent, fearless, impactful and credible journalism. Do stay tuned in. Thanks for choosing us. One person has been killed and others injured by a stray bullet at Aboabo No. 2, a suburb of Kumasi in the Ashanti region Tuesday. The deceased 16-year-old Gafaru Kasim and the injured were reportedly shot by an unknown person when a group of young men were brandishing guns as part of the Eid celebrations.
This is the spot where Gafaru Kasim was unfortunately hit by a stray bullet here at Aboabo No. 2. The place is now cordoned off with blood stains all over the floor. Officials say he was allegedly shot by an unknown person when a group of jubilant youth brandished guns after the afternoon prayer of the Eid celebrations. The 16-year-old deceased and one other who was hit beneath his right eye were sent to the Malaysia Government Hospital where Gafaru Kasim was pronounced dead. The injured, whose name is still unknown, is receiving treatment at the hospital. Family of the deceased cannot come to terms with the demise. Uncle of Kasim, Suleimana, spoke to Joy News.
No, we're coming for prayer. I said, we're coming for prayer. We have to come and prepare and go and celebrate cows. We are clearing the cow around where we get. So we just hear the call that they shoot Abdul Kasim. So that is why we went there. And as we went there, we just saw the dead body. And the person who just shooting, there's one woman, she said, KK. The woman let the boy run. So that is why we are here.
The Asakwemampo Municipal Chief Executive, Alhaji Ali Duseido, and other officials of the Municipal Security Council visited the Malaysia Government Hospital. Mr. Ali Duseidu, who doubles as the chairman of the Municipal Security Council, says police have been deployed to fish out the young people engaged in the act.
Police deployments, police have already been deployed to some of the areas. You know, when it happens this way, we dwell more on intelligence. Intelligence gathered is pointing to the effect that those involved are in some areas, and the police have taken up that matter to get deep into it to make sure that they are arrested. Because once arrested, we would make sure the law takes its own course and the right thing is done.
The MC wants residents to observe the suspension of outdoor celebrations, which is still in force.
One person is also on admission, and that the police will take that matter because there is an investigation that has to be conducted on him also. So as for police deployment is there already. We are everywhere within the community to make sure that we have a total sanity in the system. So that's where we are. There is a limit to whatever you can do. I am not an expert in shooting. I don't see why I should use gun in celebration. It's not done anywhere. So I will advise the youth to desist from these sort of acts. Let us all have a fruitful celebration for the year.
Meanwhile, residents shocked at the turn of events say they live in fear and want the police to intensify security. Police say investigations have begun. As an Islamic practice, the family would have to wait at the Meisha Government Hospital to take the body of Gafaru Kasim and prayed for to be buried. Prince Apia reporting.
The Ghana Health Service will soon introduce proposals on funerals as the service strategizes to prevent a possible third wave of COVID-19. Director General Dr. Patrick Kuma-Boaji says protocols on funerals, like all other protocols, are not being adhered to. He announced at the end of a two-day high-level strategic meeting on COVID-19 the new proposal will consider how to avoid spread of COVID-19 at funerals.
I think as part of the protocols that have been designed includes how funerals, etc., should be organized. And just like the protocol, I think it's not being adhered to, not just by one group of people, but clearly many people are doing that. We are in discussions coming up with a proposal that limits the spread, that makes it safer. And whilst people still go ahead and have funeral, we think that it's such a deep cultural thing that it is not something you can just wish away. And so we have a draft protocol that we are sharing to ensure that, how do we ensure that we still have our funerals in safety?
Dr. Kuma-Boaji, who has been speaking about Ghana's performance of COVID-19 management, warned the country risks a third wave if the attitude of the citizenry remains the same.
There has been gradual increase in cases over the past weeks. For example, between the 11th and 25th of April 2021, a total of 968 cases were recorded for the 2 weeks period, compared to 2,500 recorded from the 1st to the 14th of July 2021. The increase in cases have largely been from the major hospitals, Accra, Greater Accra, and Ashanti region, with a few sporadic outbreaks in other regions such as Volta and Eastern regions. The rise in cases is of concern to the Ghana Health Service, and this necessitated the strategic meeting of senior managers and our partners to address the increase in these cases. Ladies and gentlemen, our current system has some inherent strengths. Capacity for case management has been strengthened with an increase in the number of treatment centers from 2 to about 70 currently, with a treatment center in each region. And this is something that has been ongoing since the last wave. Training of critical care staff and the provision of equipment has also been implemented. The establishment of the Ghana Infectious Disease Center is one. The establishment of electronic data collection system for surveillance data collection, a robust laboratory capacity from 2 in the early 2020 to 400 total currently. We also have a capacity for genomic sequencing as a country, and that we've been sequencing since the last few months. And we also have a strong expanded program of immunization that has been demonstrated since the vaccination started. However, all these capacity can be overwhelmed if we do not avert a third wave, especially driven by a Delta variant, which is highly transmissible.
The Ashanti Regional Police Command has denied allegations that personnel deployed to Kumasi Girls SHS assaulted the students. Some students alleged they were assaulted by a joint police and military team deployed to the school to calm rioting on campus. The students went on a rampage Monday evening after being denied mid-term break. Nanaya Ojema has more in the following report.
The Ghana Education Service on Monday released a statement asking school authorities to prevent students from taking their midterm break. After the message was communicated, students of Kumasi Girls and St. Louis Senior High Schools were unhappy, showing their dissatisfaction by demonstrating. At Kumasi Girls, students went on rampage, destroying some school property. Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah confirms deployment of the security.
But we asked the security to move there to maintain peace and order. So now the place is calm, there's peace at the place. Don't forget that if you go to Asanteman, they have several cases of COVID there. Do you understand it? And one person can just bring it and spread it across the school. So we will talk to both Ministry of Education and then Ghana Health Services and get a common ground for all the students.
According to the students, security personnel deployed to the schools included police and military men. Students of Kumasi Girls claim the officers assaulted them even when they retreated to their dormitories.
We were chanting, we want to go home, we are starving, we don't have any provisions.
So it's true that you broke Veronica buckets?
Oh yes, we did. We did break Veronica buckets, but we didn't intentionally go and break anybody's car. We didn't do that. We were there in the dormitory when soldiers came around, they started lashing us, caning us, not with canes, with sticks. Basically, they started caning us. When you're even lying on your bed, they'll come and pull you down and they'll start caning you.
Get Fancy House Prefect. They came there and they banging the door, forcing to come in, and they came and started beating her back, her face, like everything is like she's red, she's sick. What is she?
Because I was scared. Nightmare. You see, I would see soldiers coming. It's like somebody is chasing me. All they were doing with canes and guns. You know that they are guns. They will do it.
The police has, however, refuted claims they used force to calm the students. DCOP David Ajiman Ajem is acting regional police commander.
I mean, it will be foolhardy for any police officer or military man to go into a girls' dormitory to attack girls. No, I don't think that is true. But what had happened was that, or the information I had monitored and directed was that the students had been unruly, they had destroyed school property. So we sent in police officers as well as Operation Calm Life Men. And as you know, the Operation Calm Life Men are made up of soldiers and policemen combined who were on patrol. So we sent them to go to the school. And so actually that is what I have. I told you that we went there and spoke to the students to quiet down. And that is why we have calm in the school.
Okay.
If we had gone attacking them, I'm sure they wouldn't have gone back to their dormitory.
Meanwhile, Regional Minister says an investigation.
But I will go there and witness it myself. If it's true that any student had been assaulted, and to what extent was the level of the assault.
Students of Kumasi Girls SHS were made to go home at the time of our visit. The Ghana Education Service, at the time of filing this report, were yet to comment on the issue. For Joy News, Nanaya Ojema, Kumasi.
In Accra, President Akufo-Addo says his government is a defender of free speech as he urges Ghanaians not to allow misguided speeches to destroy the peace of the country. Ghanaians, he blamed the non-adherence to the COVID-19 protocols for the recent increase in infections and deaths.
The COVID-19 pandemic is still with us, unfortunately, and this has meant that for the second year running, we are having to hold a subdued Eid celebration. As we continue to count on the grace of God to protect our country from the ravages of the pandemic, like we have done since its outbreak, we can only minimize its health effects and avoid a full-blown third wave if we continue to be responsible and observe the safety and hygiene protocols. The recent increase in the number of infections is a source of worry for me and indeed for all Ghanaians. From the rising numbers, it is safe to conclude that we have let our guard down and we're beginning to live our lives and conduct our businesses as though we are in normal times.
Still to come in this bulletin, data show that in 2020, nearly 301 girls were impregnated every day in Ghana, while 13 teenage pregnancies are recorded every 1 hour. There is more after this break. Welcome back to Joy News Prime. To the rest of our stories, President Akufo-Addo says he is a defender of free speech, and that is evident in how Ghanaians are able to express their opinions publicly without any governmental suppression. Speaking during the special EID-UL-ADHA prayers at the National Mosque here in Kanda, he urged Ghanaians not to allow persons he describes as misguided speeches to destroy the peace of the country. We'll be hearing from him shortly, but first, here's Chief Policy Analyst at the Ghana Institute of Public Policy Options, Dr. Charles Rekobrobe, calling on President Akufo-Addo to publicly condemn the life-threatening comments by Asin Central MP Kennedy Japan on Love FM's Erastus Sasaridonko. He spoke on Newsfile.
The MP used the president's name. If I were the president, I think it was a very opportune moment for the president to say, you are not the president, I am, and I do not speak like that, and I do not condone such actions, and we must that he respects the media. As whether he will say anything, that's one thing, but I expect him, as I know him, and as I've campaigned with him, and as we have sat down and believe in the freedom of the media. Don't forget, this president was my defense attorney when we were fighting for pluralism in Ghana's media. And we went as far as the Supreme Court because we believe in a free and independent media. So I expect President Akufo-Addo as president to live the beliefs that took us to court and supported free media. As to the attacks on media for specific instances of people being allowed to express their view, I'm totally disappointed. But the fact that he doesn't come in and condemn and then related tells you that there's a big gulf between the avowed belief and the actual practice.
You heard Chief Policy Analyst at the Ghana Institute of Public Policy Options, Dr. Charles Rekobrobe. We can now hear from President Akufo-Addo. He says his government is a promoter of free speech.
Let me state that I am a firm supporter of free speech. The government I lead is also a firm supporter of free speech, amply evidenced by the atmosphere of free speech prevailing in the country. However, we must all bear in mind that words can be as incendiary as guns. The Bible tells us that death and life are in the power of the tongue. All it took was the muttering of words by some irresponsible journalists, and amplified by the power of radio, to ignite the tragic genocide in Rwanda. It is important for all of us to recognize that there's only one country we call home, and that is Ghana. We must protect our way of life, in the words of the National Pledge, with all our strength and with all our hearts. We should not allow the actions and utterances of a few misguided persons to jeopardize and destroy the united Ghana we currently possess, which is the envy of many in the continent and in the world.
Teenage pregnancy remains a big challenge in Ghana, and data from the annual Ghana Health Service statistics on this is very alarming. This time, it is not only girls that are between 13 to 19, but girls between 10 to 13 years as well. The data shows that in 2020, nearly 301 girls were impregnated every day in Ghana, while 13 teenage pregnancies are recorded every 1 hour. In the central region, 10,301 girls got pregnant. Richard Kwejonyako visited the Abura Asebu Kwamankese district and interacted with teenage mothers and explored what led them into their situation.
I feel sad when I see my younger sisters being a teenage mother. I know what it is and what they are passing through.
Ernestina Kusiakwa was a victim of defilement and as a result got pregnant during her teenage years. Years after the incident, Ernestina has been able to put herself together to rally people that were in the same situation around she was years ago.
Now, Team Preg Foundation have 400 teenage mothers, which 34 are in secondary schools in the central region, 22 are in basic schools, and 344 are in skills training.
She's mobilized 400 teenage mothers whose vulnerabilities are putting them back in situations that would make them pregnant again and shatter their dreams. I wasn't doing well at school, and so I dropped out and decided to learn some apprenticeship, but hunger was killing me. Charlotte is a teenage mother in the Abura Asebu Kwamankese district. She tells a chilling tale of what put her in the situation she finds herself.
And then
I got a guy who told me he would help me. I gave myself to him and he got me pregnant. But I decided to terminate the pregnancy. I thus went to buy a 70 Ghana cedi drug to terminate it. I tried and tried, but I couldn't terminate the pregnancy. So I had no option than to give birth, and Team Preg Foundation came to my aid. The struggle for survival. Her colleague, teenage mother, Jennifer, shares her ordeal and why she desperately needs some skills to become independent.
Obi 12 years up to 20 years. Yenyin na bebre ne yenyin na yenya aboafo. Ebi wo no ma ye ma me nyipo ye ma me efim. Onya da bia ye mofama bone nti na ye konyin yon. Onam ma ye bezinti.
We are many here, and so we need your support. We are many. Some are 12 years up to 20 years. We all got pregnant, but we had no support. It isn't that we are bad girls. That is why we got pregnant. But what we will eat on a daily basis makes us give ourselves to men. Now we need your support as we have begun learning skills. Some have no parents, and their families don't even mind them. And so survival becomes our only option. And then men take advantage of us and get us pregnant. We need your help. Kwamankese Omahen, Okakabin Aidan Ando, the 10th, is calling for support for Team Preg Foundation as the foundation is gradually changing the narrative in the area.
It's what I can say is something that is uncontrollable. We of the Traditional Council have decided to give a land to any NGO who would like to help the traditional area to help us in a way of driving out such a thing. Team Preg is doing well. It's the only NGO we have in our district here. So we are also saying that if they need any help from any quarters, I believe they should also help them.
Ernestina Kusiakwa is reaching out to individuals and benevolent organizations to lend her some support as she changes the song of these young ones. For now, she farms to feed the girls and provide skills and other support for the girls. From the Abra Sebu Kwamankasi district, my name is Richard Kwejenyako for Joy News.
We'll take a break on Joy News Prime. When we return, that's business.
It's time for business. I'm Charles EID. President Akufo-Addo has reiterated government's commitment to ensuring deepened investment in the Zongo community. Addressing Muslims at the National Mosque to commemorate Eid-ul-Adha, President Akufo-Addo disclosed that the finance minister will be prioritizing Zongo development in the mid-year budget estimate in Parliament on Thursday.
We will, through interventions to be set out in the mid-year budget review, which the Minister of Finance will place before Parliament on Thursday, 29th July. Jama, I pledge my support for the continuous development of Zongo communities. In the last 4 years, the Zongo Development Ministry and Fund have done considerable work in many Zongo communities across the country. Many of the projects the fund has undertaken are being commissioned across the length and breadth of the country. In spite of the difficulties of the COVID era, we continue to fund all our flagship programs. We continue to provide the basic amenities of life to our people, and we're determined to continue in that respect. As has been well publicized, a few days ago, the Ministry of Finance granted financial clearance to the Ministry of Education and the Security Services to recruit some 11,800 people to beef up their operations. It does not end there.
As Muslims across the world celebrated Eid, which is a festival of sacrifice, we take it to the Techiman Central Market, where cattle sellers are complaining of how sales this year was very low compared to that of last year. They attribute economic hardships coupled with a high transport cost as a major contributing factor to the low patronage this year. Our Bono East Regional Correspondent Anas Sabit was at the market and has filed this report.
The Eid-ul-Adha is here again, and this year we are back at the Techiman cattle market, here at the Techiman Central Market. We are here to inquire from traders here the prices of cattle and how it is compared to a year ago. We want to speak with some of the sellers as well as some buyers to have their take on how the market is ahead of the 2021 Eid-ul-Adha.
Lukman Osman has been into this business for some time now. He says there are no buyers in the market this year because buyers are complaining of economic hardships. People are not buying from us. They ask for the prices but are unable to buy. I bought this animal for 5,000 cedis 4 months ago, and after all the investments, people can't buy because they claim the price is too high. I was expecting 8,000, but even at 7,000 cedis, they are still not buying. He says though there are few animals in the market, people are only buying the smaller ones because there is no money in the system. To Noordin, the market has been very slow, and this, according to him, is due to the scarcity of the cattle coupled with lack of money in the system.
In fact, a few
this year's market has been very slow. I've never witnessed anything like this before. For me, I think it is so because of the high cost of the animals, and two, because there's no money in the system.
Whilst a couple of them say the prices are outrageous, others are of the view that this year's market has been very impressive compared to what they experienced a year ago. Baje is one of them.
Kasuwan da gaskiya kowane lokaci muna cin sa kowane shekara dai, amma shekaran gade na ce
The market has been very good this year because even though we say there's no money, people are still buying because if you visit the EID-UL, Tamale, Bupe and Bandang Kwanta markets, you will see that our animals are being bought beyond our expectations. So for me, I can say we are really making a lot of money.
For Abbas Caesar, who is here to buy the cattle, the prices are quite outrageous. As we speak now, he's not been able to buy the cattle for the EID-UL-ADHA celebrations.
This current year, the cost of the animals are outrageous. The prices are high compared to previous years. You know, we have been jumping from one dealer to other. Any cattle you ask, it seems the cost to be high. So we are praying that something should be done with the cost so that we will all have some for our family.
So for him, these are some of the contributing factors to the reasons why the prices are quite outrageous this year.
You know, currently because of the transportation, if you look at transportation from Wa and other nearby village to the Techimai, of course, it's high. And the recent increment in the fuel price is also one of the factors.
Well, so this has been the situation here at the Techiman Central Market, here at the cattle market. My name is Anas Sabit, reporting for Joy News.
Many thanks for staying with us. Time to bring you sports. My name is Hans Mensah, and now boxing all over the world is a male-dominated sport. The story in Ghana is not different. The exploits of female boxers in this field are often in obscurity. Well, there's this 11-year-old girl at Jamestown, a hub of Ghana's boxing, who wants to change that narrative. She's Najat Loco. Joy Sports' Muftar Nabila Abdullah has the rest of the story.
There might not be many stories about females getting involved in the sport of boxing, but for Najat Loco, it is an opportunity for her to rewrite the history.
I'm a boxer because in future I want to become the first female boxer to win a medal for Ghana, because in Ghana we don't have a lot of female boxers.
Ghana has won 10 world titles, and of all these titles, they were won by men. And not even Na Amele Texan, who took a bold step into the arena of boxing, have earned a eulogy from any quarters. And she is the only one who can offer the best of advice to Najat Loco. She says Najat has got a potential to win a medal for Ghana come 2023 Africa Games.
I want Najat to be like me and come and take over from where I stopped from and continue, because I didn't take a medal for the nation, but I wanted to take a medal. What we need is we need support. Somebody like Najat, give Najat 2 years. I'm telling you the fact, she's going to take medal for Ghana in 2023, all African Games in Ghana. Let's bet. I know what I'm saying.
The desire of Najat Loco goes beyond punching opponents in the ring. She has the heart of saving souls in future.
You don't have to you don't have to aim on only one thing. Always you have to think twice. So I decided in future to become a doctor. But because I added boxing, I took the advice of my father. So always after school, I go to training, and sometimes if I can't make it to training, I tell my father that, Dad, today I can't make it to training. So after he goes to training, come back to train me at home.
The career of Najat Loco began about 5 years ago, and she appears to be on the trajectory of achieving the dream she set for herself, having already won medals in Joy Sports' Kids Olympics, as well as Basiseka's Female Boxing Championship in December 2020.
The Ghana Boxing Authority goes to the poll on Thursday, July 22, to elect new executives. Presidential candidate Henry Manley Spin has been sharing his vision with Joy Sports.
The GBA TV, number one. The academy that I wanted to set up. Also, there are other things that we've actually put in place. And therefore, I feel when the time comes, no one is holding me back. It's an assurance, and I had always assured people and had never failed the assurances. I'm going to deliver. If not, you can hold me to it, especially you, the press guys. I'm also going to deal with the media a lot because you are going to be our mouthpiece. I am not going to leave you alone. I am going to hold you tight. I'm going to hold you responsible. What we will be going for, the number one issue that we will be going for or chasing is to have a secretariat or secretariat, you call it. And that secretariat have to be equally like the football one, whereby each and every department of ours would have their offices. So if anyone needs an assistance and needs to come and talk to me, fine, they can see me. The vice is going to be there. If the issue it's on their licenses, the person in charge of licenses is going to have his office. They can easily walk in there and have all these things done. I wanted to plead with you, the media, to know that I'm going to be with you. And I'm really going to need your support.
And that'll be all for sports. There is more at myjoyonline.com/sports. My name is Hans Mensah.
Welcome back to Joy News Prime. The Municipal Chief Imam of Al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, Imam Idris Suleiman, has called on Muslims to stay away from activities that endangers their lives and contribute towards projects that brings development to their respective communities. He made this call during a congregational prayer to mark the EID-UL-ADHA celebrations. There's more in the following report by Anas Sabit.
EID-UL-ADHA is an Islamic festival to commemorate the willingness of Abraham to follow Allah's command to sacrifice his son. For Muslims in the Techima municipality, the 2021 EID-UL-ADHA is filled with joy as they observe the communal prayer in the open as part of measures taken by authorities to ease the imposed COVID-19 restrictions that saw them observe the Eid al-Fitr prayers in their various mosques. Municipal Chief Imam of Al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah, Imam Idris Suleiman, in his sermon admonished Muslims to desist from engaging in political activities that endanger their lives and focus on developmental projects.
Muslims are always putting themselves into certain dangers, which is uncalled for. During election, they do die. Anything that happens somewhere, if they put politics in it, it is going to result that some Muslims died. So I'm calling on all Muslims to respect their lives. And even we have so many work to do. We should build schools. We should build hospitals. We should do something that will help Islam instead of...
Hundreds of underprivileged Muslims in Kumasi have received kilos of beef that may ordinarily be inaccessible thanks to a generous donation from a philanthropist. The donation of 1,000 cedis has enabled 500 families to receive a welcome supply of the beef in accordance with traditional Eid festivities. Mahfoud Mohammed Nuruddin has more in the following report.
All of the beneficiaries selected for the donation are among the 500 who cannot afford to pay for a ram, cow, or its like in honor of the celebration. 15 bulls were slaughtered, butchered, and distributed to the families. Here is Sheikh Mohammed Ridwan Mohammed.
Widows, orphans, and all the people who are less privileged, and the people who don't have something to eat today. So this is what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam teach us.
The provision of the beef assistance remains a priority for the philanthropists and its partners, Turkey Diyanet. They seek to expand their support to more people in the coming years. Some of the beneficiaries share their excitement. My husband passed away and left sisters to come for the meet. I also came, and so far we are happy.
In the Upper West region, Muslims joined their colleagues from the rest of the world to celebrate this year's EID-UL-ADHA. And Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz bin Saleh used the occasion to urge Muslim leaders in the region to sensitize the youth against the practice of homosexuality and lesbianism, which some youths have reported to be engaging in the region. Joy News' Upper West Regional correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
Unlike the previous years, where the performance of the 2 Rakat congregational prayer was done in the open, this year's celebration of Eid al-Fitr by the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission was done at 6 designated mosques in the Wa municipality. The move is to decongest and prevent overcrowding at the mosques following the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic that has claimed several hundreds of lives in the country. As a result of that, it was observed under strict COVID-19 safety health protocols. All worshippers wore nose masks and kept a reasonable distance from each other. Before one gets access to any of the prayer venue, he or she will first have his hands sanitized and the body temperature checked using the thermometer gun. Upper West Region Zonal Missionary of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission, Maulvi Muzaffar Ahmed, led a prayer attended by worshippers gorgeously and exquisitely dressed in white apparel. He later delivered the Eid sermon, urging the congregants to continue to pray to seek Allah's guidance.
Month of Ramadan was so blessed that Allah the Almighty said that when my person, they are putting their head onto the ground, I am very closer to them to hear. I am just beside you. Just put your head onto the ground. Even the second person who is beside you saying salat, he cannot hear you. But I am the Allah who can hear you.
Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz bin Saleh noted that a nation is built by tolerance and national cohesion, and therefore urged Ghanaians not to take the current peace enjoyed for granted.
We must consciously safeguard the peace of the nation and not let the views of some extremist few affect the peace of the country. In our quest to develop as a nation, there are times where we may have divergent views on matters of policies and opinions in our national discourse. We must be tolerant of each other and respect the views of others.
At the Nosrojan Ahmadiyya College of Education, the situation was not different, as all worshippers abide by the safety COVID-19 health protocols. The prayer was led by the Wa East Sekul missionary of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission, Murabi Basiruddin Idris.
The need for Ramadan is to make us righteous. And as you become righteous, you create the union between you and your Creator. And for that matter, members are urged to go by the tenets of Ramadan. And Ramadan, for that matter, comes to remind you of your duties as a believer, as a true Muslim. In this regard, we thank God for all that Allah has done for us.
And as I wrap up the bulletin tonight, my name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching. For more news, log on to myjournline.com. There is more of the updates of developing stories. And to all Muslims across the world, happy Eid-ul-Adha.